In this session, we're going to look at lessons 107 through 109. And this first thing that we're going to look at is called a convergent geometric series. And the reason it's called convergent, which you will recognize, is the sum of a geometric series. And this is something you should already have in your notes. And this is just kind of building on this concept. The reason it's called convergent is if the r in this is less than 1, this is a convergent addition. If it is greater than 1, it's divergent, and it's not even possible, so you can't even do it. So the first thing we're going to do, they're going to give us this series of numbers. We got to decide what the r is. Now the a1 is easy because it is the first number, which is 5. But we've got to figure out what is the r in this one. What is the change? R is the change between each one. And the change between each one, we'll notice that every one of them, the bottom increases by times 2. The bottom increases by times 1, so which means there's no change on the top. There's no change on the top, times 1. Change on the bottom is times 2. So the r is 1/2, which 1/2 is less than 1. So it is a convergent series. So the answer to this is going to be s equals 5 over 1/2, flip it, s equals 10. So the sum of this series is 10. The first one wasn't bad. Let's look at the second one and kind of how they'll ramp it up just a little bit. They'll give you a scenario to where a ball is dropped 12 feet. And so you just go 12 feet, you let go of the ball, and then obviously it'll bounce, 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 bounce. It'll bounce less each time. And so you can use this formula to find out how high the ball will bounce each time. Well, it says that every time the ball hits the ground, it only rebounds 2/5 of the way that it was dropped. So if it was dropped at 12 feet, the next hop will only be 2/5 of that 12 feet. So if we want to find the 10th fall, we'll actually use what we traditionally use, which was just to find the numbers in a geometric series. So if they want to find the 10th fall, but then they want to find the total falls of this, and that's where we'll use this formula here. So if we find the 10th fall, it'll be A10 equals A1, which was 12. R was 2/5. And if we're finding the 10th fall, it'll be n minus 1, which is 9. So we'll put this in our calculator in order to find the answer for this one. And when we do, we get 0.003142 feet. 0.003142 feet. That is our answer for that one. Now when we're plugging in here, we get S equals, of course the first one is 12, 1 minus R, which is going to be 2/5. Now whenever we put that in our calculator, we're going to get 20. That's not quite the answer in these ones that bounce. There's one more factor. You got to take this number that you get, 20, and subtract it by the first bounce, which is 8, and you have to add these two together, so the sum is actually 28 feet total that this thing will bounce when you add all the bounces up together. This next lesson, we're going to look at adding and multiplying a matrix. Adding and subtracting the matrix, and multiplying and dividing, two different things, but in adding and subtracting, it's very easy. You can just look at it and do it. The answer to this will be a 2 by 3. You'll go 4 minus 3, which is 1. 2 minus 5, which is -3. -2 minus 4, which is 2. 6 minus 4, which is 2. 3 minus -2, which is 5. And 5 minus 6, which is -1. Not much to adding and subtracting a matrix. With multiplying and dividing a matrix, all you have to do is put both of them in your calculator. Even if it's a 3 by 2 and a 2 by 2, or a 3 by 3 and a 2 by 2, it doesn't matter what they are, the calculator will do it for you. You can also do that with adding and subtracting. I just think it's slower to do data entry on your calculator and just add, subtract the matrix when the concept is so easy. But with multiplication and division, you can just plug it in and then just multiply those two in order to do that. The last thing that we're going to look at is the addition of lesson 109. It's the sum of these geometric series. And basically, you're going to use this formula to come up with a fraction to change this decimal into a fraction here. And the way that you're going to do that is s equals, and of course you're going to write this. Now this means repeating, but we're not going to write down any repeating stuff. So we're going to write down just 0.0023 over 1 minus, and in order to get away with that repeating, we got to put a number here. Well, it'll always be however many digits we have here. And so the number of digits that we have there is 2. So we will put 0.01 because there's 2 repeating digits. Now we can go ahead and come over here to this one. We hit 5 plus because there's a 5 as a whole number there. And of course we have 0.013 on top and then 1 minus. And because there's 3 repeating digits, we're going to put 0.001. So the R, our R in this thing has to do with the number of repeating digits. And of course when you do the math on both of these, then it is going to come up with the answer of what you are looking for. It'll be 23 over 9,900 for this one. So that will be the sum of all of those added up there together. And then 5,008 over 999 is going to be the sum of these. So that is it for lessons 106 through 109.